Imagine an enemy that doesn't come from outside your body. It's not a virus, it's not bacteria, and it's not environmental toxins. It's a part of you, your cells that suddenly went crazy, refused to die, and decided to build their own kingdom inside your organs. Many think that cancer is a curse of modern humans due to pollution, cell phone radiation, or instant food. However, what if I told you that long before humans discovered fire, even long before our ancestors came down from the trees, this disease was already killing all living things on this planet? Today, we will take a medical detective journey through time, tracing fossils millions of years ago to the ancient records of the pharaohs, to answer one big question. Who was the first victim of cancer, and why does this disease seem to be the price every living thing has to pay to evolve? To understand who first developed cancer, we must first understand what cancer actually is at its most basic level. Cancer is not a single disease, but rather a systematic failure in the process of cell division. Every second, millions of cells in your body divide to replace damaged ones. With each division, there is a very complex process of DNA duplication. However, the universe is not perfect. Sometimes, typos or errors occur in the genetic code. Typically, the body has a cell police that will order these defective cells to commit suicide, a process called apoptosis. The problem is, cancer is a cell that has successfully fooled the police. It undergoes mutations that allow it to divide endlessly, absorbing nutrients from healthy cells and becoming immortal within the body it is slowly killing. This phenomenon is actually a logical consequence of being a multicellular organism. As long as a living thing is composed of many cells working together, the risk of a single cell rebelling will always exist. This is why cancer has existed since the dawn of complex life, hundreds of millions of years ago. This means that cancer is not just a disease, but a bug in the software of life. The more complex an organism and the longer it lives, the greater the chance of mutation. In the past, we may not have seen many cases of cancer because living things tended to die young from predators or infections. But traces of it are neatly hidden in ancient fossilized bones, waiting to be discovered by modern human technology. Cancer is a shadow that always follows evolution, a reminder that life always walks a fine line between growth and destruction. For centuries, paleontologists thought dinosaur fossils were simply clean, bone-like rocks. But in 2020, a discovery rocked the world of science. At the Royal Ontario Museum, scientists re-examined the tibia of a Centrosaurus, a horned, plant-eating dinosaur that lived 76 million years ago. Initially, the strange protrusions on the bone were thought to be marks from an improperly healed fracture. However, CT scans and microscopic analysis revealed a far more sinister reality. This poor dinosaur suffered from malignant osteosarcoma, a highly aggressive bone cancer that still affects humans today. Imagine, millions of years before the first human was born, an ancient giant limped across the grasslands because its cancer had spread to other organs. This proves that the mechanisms of cancer have not changed over tens of millions of years. The bone cancer experienced by the dinosaur is biologically identical to what bone cancer patients experience today. This discovery completely changes our perspective. If dinosaurs living in pristine environments free from industrial pollution could develop cancer, then it's clear that modern environmental factors are merely additional triggers, not the primary cause. The discovery of a 1.7 million-year-old fossilized toe of an ancient human relative in South Africa further reinforces this. The bone shows a distinctive pattern of pits caused by the uncontrolled growth of cancer cells. These traces are a black tape of medical history, demonstrating that cancer has silently witnessed the rise and fall of various species on Earth, including the human lineage itself. If fossils tell us about the physical existence of cancer, Then historical records tell us about how humans first perceived this monster. Our medical journey begins in ancient Egypt, around 3000 BC. The Edwin Smith Papyrus, one of the world's oldest medical treatises, contains descriptions of 8 cases of breast lumps. Ancient physicians described them as hard, cold, and spreading masses beneath the skin, like unripe fruit that never ripens. The most heartbreaking aspect of the note was its conclusion. Beneath the description of the disease, the physician wrote a short, heartbreaking sentence: "There is no cure." This was the first recorded diagnosis of cancer in human history. At that time, the term cancer was unknown. They only knew of a hidden poison or a disturbance in bodily fluids that hardened the flesh. The treatment was brutal. They tried to burn the lumps with hot irons or smear them with strange potions, which of course were ineffective and only hastened the patient's death. The name cancer itself only appeared centuries later thanks to Hippocrates, the Greek father of medicine. He observed that a swollen tumor with prominent blood vessels around it resembled a crab gripping its prey. In Greek, the crab was called karkinos, which was later translated into Latin as cancer. This name stuck for thousands of years, aptly describing how the disease grasped its victim's body and refused to let go. This medical history shows that since the beginning of civilization, humans have been engaged in a one-on-one battle with cancer, though we were always defeated at first. We now live in an era where cancer is no longer a death sentence. However, the challenges are even greater. The human population is aging, and as we discussed, age is cancer's best friend. The longer we live, the more time our cells have to make mistakes. That's why the global cancer rate seems to have increased dramatically now compared to 100 years ago. It's not just because of the environment, but because we've managed to live long enough for cancer to develop. The good news is we now have weapons the pharaohs or Greek physicians never imagined. We are developing genetic therapies, immunotherapies that train the immune system to attack cancer cells, and DNA-based early detection. We are no longer trying to burn off lumps with a hot iron, but rather trying to fix faulty genetic code at the molecular level. We are trying to outsmart evolution itself. This journey from dinosaur bones to modern laboratories teaches us one thing: cancer is part of the drama of life. It is a reminder of the fragility of our biological systems. However, as the only species capable of understanding its own genetic code, humans have a unique opportunity to finally break this cycle. It may not be tomorrow or the day after, but our long history of fighting cancer shows that we are a species that never gives up. We study this eternal enemy not out of fear, but to find a way forward so that in the future, no diagnosis will ever end with the phrase, "no treatment."